What's up, you awesome gamers? It's time for the Gaming Report, your daily dose of gaming news. I'm one of your hosts, the Governor. Sitting next to me is the lovely SheWulf.
Hey guys.
In this show, we pick a few of the top gaming topics of the day to discuss and keep you, the gamer, informed of what's happening in the gaming industry. You can watch us live on Mixer 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So far, we might be doing them more. If you can't catch us live, don't worry. We will upload each episode to YouTube at Gamers Knows Best. This is a new show. We need your help, so make sure you follow, like, subscribe, rate everything else that you could possibly do to help us out. We'd really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Let's go ahead and get into some housekeeping. One thing I want to remind everybody that tomorrow we will be doing the Diablo 3 season play, leveling up to 70 on a new seasonal character. If you're interested, let us know. We do have a couple people already that hit us up, so if they can't play the whole time, we're going to be swapping people in and out, so all that kind of cool, fun stuff. Don't worry, you can level up really fast and keep up with us. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is we talked about Kingdom Hearts 3 on the last show. We got something wrong, and we thank you, the viewers, for keeping us honest and letting us know in the comments section that there was no official release date or window.
Let me take this one away, as I was the one that said it. Now just let me confirm. Yes, I am sorry. The video that I did see back in 2015 was actually a fake video. Now I am sorry. Back then, I wasn't really doing this whole thing, so I was just more or less excited for Kingdom Hearts and didn't realize later that year they did release that it was a fake video, that it wasn't coming out, obviously, winter 2016. So, guys, I am sorry for the misinformation about Kingdom Hearts 3.
And thank you again for keeping us honest. And if you guys hear anything else that we're talking about and it's not quite right, let us know. We will give you all the kudos and everything else, and we will have it up on the next show to correct everything. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the news topics. So this game you might have heard about, possibly Destiny 2 beta.
What's that game? I don't know what that game is.
So it's come out on the PS4 first. It's now currently on the Xbox a day later for the beta. Get to play it all weekend long. I think, Friday it opens up for everybody that they can go ahead and play.
The 21st, yes. First it was PlayStation, which was yesterday. Today, Xbox went live for the early beta for anyone who pre-ordered. And then starting on Friday the 21st, it goes open to everybody.
Yeah, and on this show, we wanted to talk about our thoughts of it. How's it been going? You know, is it better than the first one and all this other kind of good stuff? So I broke it down into 3 parts. Let's talk about the homecoming mission, then we'll talk about the strike, and then we'll talk about multiplayer. I'm going to be honest, I didn't play the multiplayer yet. I know you guys have with you and Fox
Yes.
had to go ahead and play it. But let's go ahead and start on the homecoming mission. What did you think of the mission so far? Like, when you got into it, were you kind of jarred? Was anything going on? Was it kind of crazy?
Okay, so first, I like the fact that the first mission, you actually see some of the original main characters from the first one. You see, obviously, the Hunter,
K6.
the Warlock, which I believe her name is Amanda. You actually see her jump onto a ship, and she actually takes the ship down. So you actually saw a little more interactive of the main characters. So they're actually part of the story, where in the first one, obviously, there was pretty much no story. You were just almost kind of running around, and there was some...
Well, there was a little bit of it, with the tower guy and with your ghost and all that kind of stuff, but nothing to the extent that we've already seen in Homecoming right now.
But they weren't... I guess they weren't really much included into the story.
Kind of
like you literally thought you were with her.
Right, you were helping out.
Yes, because you were actually still playing as you. It wasn't a cutscene. Mm-hmm. You were able to run up to her and actually see her, and I actually thought she was going to kind of run with you for a bit, but she just jumped on the ship and took it out.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was neat, that you actually got to go, but except you didn't have the Titan. He wasn't there.
Savala was there. He was the one with the bubble
he
on
opened
over.
the door. He opened the door, right.
Yeah, well, that was the Iron Banner guy. I forgot his name.
Oh. The one was... Where was the bubble?
He was like in the first... the cutscene, like when you first initially start, he's up on the tower and he's like, everybody come to me. And he's like, boom.
Oh,
He's
no,
the
I
timer.
mean during the game.
No,
itself.
during
during the mission.
Yeah, no, he was only in your headset being like, hey, go here, do this.
Oh, see, so,
kick some
okay,
ass
so I
and
was
all that
right.
kind of
He wasn't. That's what I was referring to was because you actually saw like Cade and you actually saw Amanda in this mission, and that's what I was referring to was actually seeing them.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really good. I liked the story that it was going, and it was nice to see something different, like the big reactor that you had to go in. You actually had to be careful and not get squished by the thing as you were trying to run through it. So I like that they added some different aspects to this game, and the graphics still look amazing.
Yeah, that's the one thing, like, because I liked how you came in, you dropped down, and then you're on the tower, and it's like completely on fire, and you see all these beautiful fire effects, everything going crazy right now, and you're like, oh my god, what's happened? The funny part of the ghosts, you know, that whole banter back and forth is still there, which I enjoyed. You know what? I still miss Dinklebot.
I liked him better.
Yeah, I do.
He may
I liked
have
his
been
voice
boring, but I liked him
better.
better.
I liked his voice better. So yeah, you continue on to the mission, and like SheWulf said, you know, you got to see Cade 6 in there. You got to see Amanda the Korra, the hunter girl.
She was
in there.
She was a warlock.
Or warlock, yeah, sorry.
Cade is the hunter.
Yeah, Cade's the hunter. And he goes in and does his like golden gun. He's like, hey, hang on, guys. Let me go ahead and shoot these couple guys, and then just bounces off and does his thing. So Nathan Fillion still voicing it. That was super cool.
Thank God they kept him. I would have been so mad if they would have taken him
I think he
out.
loves voicing for like video games. I think that's
he
why he's
does.
always around. But yeah, it was super fun. You get to move on going through the tower. You see the Cabal, you know, the Red Legion and all that kind of stuff. For anybody that hasn't played it, I'm not going to like spoil the ending of Homecoming. This is all the stuff that you've seen in like
Which
trailers.
I wanted to actually talk about the ending because of...
Yeah, just what happens. And
But
all that
I
kind of
don't
stuff.
want to ruin it, guys. You have to see the big bad. I can at
Yeah.
least say that. They do show the big bad, and
The big bad, yeah.
I said what he looked like to Fox, but I
He's a
can't
Cabal.
say it because I don't want to give it away, but he looks pretty badass. So.
And you know, and that's the other thing too is like, you know, we were worried about going into this, like, is it just going to be another reskin of characters? But they did more than that. They, you know, they are, you know, still Cabal. So yeah, okay, yeah, they're a little bit of a reskin, but they have new mechanics like the fire guys and all that stuff that are shooting out. You know, now it's all over the
bosses.
ground. Yeah, the bosses are
Have,
all.
like, these
and it seems
big,
like they
like,
added so many
void-
more. Like mini bosses throughout too. It's not like
Yeah.
you're just killing a bunch of things to get to this one end guy. You're hitting like multiple guys throughout the story, which was kind of fun and broke up the monotony
They
of just
have
killing.
shields now.
Yeah, they have shields.
like, giant-
pretty much the same powers that
A Titan has.
yeah, all the other, you know, Guardians have and all that kind of stuff.
It was interesting because he had like this giant void gun that just wrecked you. I was like, oh my god. But you know what I thought was kind of funny is the Cabal look like Cabal, but
Mm-hmm.
the one thing about the first Destiny, now this could just be me, but when you see them, the first Destiny, they're very big and very, very bulky.
Yeah, they looked a little slimmer this time.
They look like Oompa Loompas.
Yeah.
But here they didn't.
Yeah,
they
I
looked.
agree.
They actually looked like they were actually
More-
wearing their armor
Yeah.
instead of actually their armor wearing them.
Yeah, I don't
guess,
think that's
like,
you because I totally picked up on that too. They looked a little more thinner, athletic.
built,
yeah, more
like-
built kind of guys. And that could be because of the baddie at the end. Maybe that's just how he trains his soldiers to like
Well, yeah, he
look
was
this way and be
built,
this way.
like-
Yeah. So all in all, like I really enjoyed the steps and the beats of the story going into Homecoming. Now, this is just the beginning, so it's already, you know, got that hype for this. Like I can't wait to see what else when we go to other worlds and what happens. Because I can't. I want to say so bad what happens at the end because it ties into everything else that's going to be happening in Destiny. But
But if
you guys
wanna
haven't got a
see
chance to play
you
it
have
yet.
to go
So
try it just to see this.
next week on
ending.
Console Corner, we'll definitely be talking about it.
Yeah, we will.
So everybody should have a chance to play it by then. So let's go ahead into the Strike, which is the inverted spire.
I didn't play this strike.
You didn't play the Strike? Oh, you got to play the Strike. It's so good.
We what happened was we ended up having me and Fox obviously were playing, and then Sanjabot and Newf joined in. Of course, they still didn't up the fire team to 4 people. You kept it at the stupid 3, so that didn't work. Obviously, so we had to do the 4-on-4 multiplayer because we didn't want to kick any of them out. And we really wanted
No,
to
that's-
play some
yeah,
with
totally.
them. So, no, I haven't done the strike, but I am going to probably play with you after this.
Yeah,
so.
for sure.
But you
It's-
can talk about the strike.
It's
because
totally cool. Like it starts off just like any other Strike. You know, you got your team, you're flying down in there, you got this, and it's your basic like go kill a bad guy and have a great time. It was a lot of jumping, which I don't know how you're gonna like that. There's a lot of jumping stuff. Reminded me a lot of like the raids and stuff, which
I don't like jumping puzzles, people.
but it was super fun. Like I enjoyed, and it was like had a lot of verticality in this one, where you had like enemies down below you and above you, so you had to keep your head on a swivel. You're fighting the Vex, which is cool. They definitely did something with like the Hobgoblin ones, the ones that throw up the armor when you hit them the first time. They are very like, I don't know, their AI is better or something. They almost like looking at you and being like, I know you're about to shoot me, so I'm gonna kick your ass kind of thing. It could be just me or just like, you know, the newness of Destiny too. But then you continue on fighting through. You got the little mini bosses and stuff you fight just like anything else. And then you get down in there and they have this drill thing that's moving around in a circle. And there's enemies all through there. And all these big drill things are coming around. You have to dodge those, kill the enemies, jump up, and just take care of your team. When somebody goes down, you got to go pick them up. Yeah. And then to get down into this little cave part, and then you go down in the cave, and then starts the big boss battle where this huge Vex comes out. He's got some cool powers. He blinds you throughout the fight. The other really cool parts about it too is the floor gives away. So you're fighting the guy and you're like, oh, everything's cool. We're like, damaging him and doing all this kind of cool stuff. And then all of a sudden the floor disappears and you fall down to the next level. And then you fall down again to another level and you're at the bottom. And it also has like all these floor mechanics too, where he like starts enraging or something like that and then turns the floor on fire, which starts to damage you. So if you're already low on health, that'll pretty much take you out if you're not paying attention. So that fight went on to that, and he spawns all these guys, and you're like constantly taking them out. He had a lot of health too, because he was a pain in the ass to take down. He would move around and get pissed off. His head comes off at some point, and then you're starting to get towards the end of the fight. But it was super fun. I hope that continues on into Strikes to give us more than just go into said
you beat
place,
a boss,
and then go on to the next one. And it looks like they did that here. So if they keep amping that up and changing the gameplay mechanics, I think it's going to be super fun, super refreshing, and that bodes like well to other further updates coming on down the road. So if they can implement that, the next ones, be other iterations and stuff, and keeping it really fresh and exciting. But all in all, I really enjoyed the Strike. I thought it was a really good time, and they gave you loot at the end too. Some purples and stuff, so that was kind of fun. I got a sniper rifle and another helmet and stuff, so it was cool. Got the little chests and everything.
Yeah,
it was awesome.
I haven't played it, so I can't really comment on it, but I can comment on the multiplayer, which you haven't played yet. And so the 4 versus 4 thing, these maps are still too big to have only 4 people.
That's what I was wondering.
Around.
Are the maps still similar to Destiny 1 as far as size-wise? Did they try and scale them down on
No, it seems like they're the same size. Like, it does, personally to me, this is just, like, maybe someone else feels differently, but personally to me, I feel like they still feel the same. Like, they're still, because a lot of times we were running around and we're like, where the heck are they? Like, there was a few times where we had to go search for them. And I
wonder if the map, like, if they have to keep the maps a certain size due to the other game modes like control and all that other kind of stuff to keep it's like if they have it too condensed for only the 4v4 like team deathmatch kind of stuff, you might lose more for the other
it's
gameplay.
Possible you don't get that, like you don't get those game modes.
You don't get the game modes. Okay.
You get competitive and you get quick match, which the quick match is kind of cool. It's literally just like you go in, but it was only control. I think it's called control, where you have to like capture the flag kind of things. And so, like, that was neat. Like, it was definitely constantly moving. The heavy, they did... Okay, so there is a couple things I kind of didn't completely like. Now, the heavy, they do it a bit differently. They actually give it more on a time base, which is always good. However, only one person can get it.
Interesting.
You can't share it. Like, you don't get to share it.
So whoever first come, first served kind of thing.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And, like, Fox constantly kept, like... I was sitting there for one of the maps. I was actually, like...
So, is it even, like, worth going after if it's not even, like, close by you?
If it's not close, no. Because chances are any, like...
I could see the other part...
on the wall.
Interesting. Like, I could see one part where, like, if it does spawn and it's only one area, everybody comes after it, and it's, like, a big firefight at that point.
Okay, well, here's a perfect example. There's 2 of them. Like, on the map that we played, there was 2 of them, and they're put up on the walls. And so, I was going for A... And I literally, like, I saw...
Okay, so there's 2...
Hold on.
No, but you were saying, like, there's only one... So I'm confused as... Is there 2 actual points but only drops 1 piece of ammo for somebody?
Yeah. Like,
okay. I thought
so-
there was only like one thing
No,
that spawned ammo for one
there's
person.
2 boxes that are
Okay.
on the wall. They both spawn at different times. They don't spawn. I didn't really ever see them spawn at the same time. Like, I'm sure there was a couple times they may have gone at the same time, but most of the time I only ever saw one at a time. And so, say for example, I was by the 1 and it was on the countdown. I'm like, oh, all right, well, I'm gonna go take A because it was like right there while I waited for the timer to finish. So I was collecting A. Fox came running in and she just took it because she was right there when the timer went up and she just grabbed it. I'm like, great. I was sitting there waiting for the damn thing. I'm taking A. I'm waiting. And she took it. So that you're going to see that happen a lot because I couldn't run over there and say pick up whatever fell because that was it. There was only the one.
That's an interesting mechanic though, because like in the first one, you know, you could run to the thing, it would drop like 3 or 4, whoever was around, and then everybody get, and then become like a rocket fest.
Yeah.
So maybe that's a way to take that down to bring in more of the gunplay mechanic instead of like just cheesing a few kills here and there kind of thing.
It's possible. We didn't get to play with rocket launchers. They're grenade launchers now.
Yeah.
Or sniper rifle. They moved the sniper rifle down there.
power,
So it's kind of it's interesting what they did with it, and at the same time, it definitely makes it more tricky. But I got to the point where I was just like, oh, I have no point of going after it now because chances are, as soon as it spawns, there's somebody else already.
How many
close
maps
enough.
was there?
We only got one.
Only one map?
They only gave us one map for quick match and one map for competitive. At least, yeah, because we only kept playing on the. We tried
Same
competitive twice, and it was the same map both times. And competitive, now, that one, it's pretty much just like Search and Destroy on Call of Duty, where you have to get to these bomb things, and I don't know if you actually have to set them off because we were never able to get to them before we were all dead. Because literally once you're dead, and you have to wait for your team to obviously like revive you if they can get to you. I do find like some guns were overpowered. You do get weapons purples every time, like after every match. If you win anyways. I don't think I got anything if we lost. But if you won, you got armor or you got a gun. So, you know, it was neat in that aspect, but people were getting like, unless you're playing it like a lot right now, chances are you're not going to have the greatest guns going in. So
I don't think they have like all the RNG in there anyway. It's
no,
probably just
but
like,
there was definitely a lot of better guns than the ones we had because like people were killing us in like 1 or 2 shots and that was it. But
nice. Yeah, I'll have to play some multiplayer and get you on that strike and all that kind of stuff. I also want to dive into some of the menu stuff and the skills and all that kind of stuff because I really haven't got a chance to even mess with that kind of stuff and see how it affects the characters and everything.
Yeah.
But I'm super stoked because I know we talked about this a little bit before. Is I'm totally into Destiny 2. Like I can definitely know that we're going to be playing a shit ton of Destiny 2 when it comes out because it's just that good.
Yeah.
They kept the gameplay, everything fantastic, super smooth. Digital Foundry already did the PS4 thing, what they do for the analytics and all that kind of stuff. Rock solid, like 30 FPS all the way through. A little bit of frame timing here and there, but everything was solid. So they'll be having the Xbox stuff coming out soon. So hopefully it's the same for that. I think it will be because Bungie's pretty good at polishing their games and making it really good for everybody. So
yeah.
that's Destiny, everybody. We're super hyped for it. Good.
So one question I keep seeing on Twitter because people actually wanted an impression video from us. Would you recommend playing the Destiny beta? Like, would you actually recommend this?
Absolutely. Like, there's no reason not to. It's coming out free on Friday.
Yeah.
Why not spend the weekend? Grab
Try
some
it.
people. Come play with us. Like, we'll totally play and have a good time with you and show you the ins and outs and all that stuff. And if you haven't played Destiny before, like Destiny 1, you heard too much stuff about it, definitely try Destiny 2 because it's really... It's the same game, but not the same game. I know that's kind of a weird thing to say, but it's really not. It plays like a lot better.
It's what Destiny should have been.
Exactly.
Now, because this is obviously only the beta, and we don't get to see everything there is, we do know how limited that we are going to get with planets and stuff like that. We do know that there is.
But they did add like new like mission stuff and a whole bunch of other like quality of life.
But a lot
things.
of people worry, obviously, with Destiny 2, with the DLC and all that kind of stuff.
It's a
we
thing.
all still worry about that. So, don't go thinking we don't, because we definitely worry about like how much money we did put into Destiny 1 for it to not be a complete game. Now, if the campaign delivers, then that alone is worth its price.
Yeah, I think the base game, like what you're going to get on the disc before the DLC, is totally worth $60. Like I even thought Destiny 1 was still totally worth, even though they didn't have a full story in there. You could do it with the Grimoire cards and all that kind of stuff. I still thought everything they gave you was worth $60.
Even going around doing the world was still
definitely
doing,
worth $60.
like, it still gave you a lot to do.
Yeah.
So I still recommend it. Wait for Friday, guys. It's free.
Yeah.
Just download it and try it before you hate it.
Yeah, we'll definitely, after the weekend and all that kind of stuff, put a really good video together for everybody, give you all our thoughts, like ins and outs. I haven't played the Xbox version, so I'm excited to play that tonight.
Oh my god, it felt so different from playing on the PlayStation one. Felt so different.
I can't wait. So let's go ahead and move on to the next story, which is an interesting one. Casey Hudson is moving back to Bioware. You know, he left a couple of years ago, went to go do some HoloLens and all kinds of cool stuff for Microsoft. Now all of a sudden he's back at BioWare, going to be doing the general manager thing. Read off some things for everybody so they can keep in the know. Former Mass Effect project director Casey Hudson is returning to BioWare to become the studio's general manager. And this is what he says. So when I left BioWare 3 years ago, it was the most difficult decision of my career. I needed some time off, needed a bit of a change, and I wanted to get involved in a new wave of disruptive technologies that were emerging. The last few years have been transformative for me. From having time to reflect on what I wanted to do most, to working on new technologies and a platform scale, and now I'm thrilled to have the opportunity to return to the lead BioWare, a studio that I think of as home. I'd also like to wish a good friend, Aaron Flynn, the very best in the future. I think it's Aaron, something like that. It's Aaryn, and I have worked together from the earliest days of Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic, to setting the foundation for Anthem. We've been through a lot together, and we'll be going to miss him in his presence in the studio in the future. Aaron Flynn also said, you know, he will be leaving at the end of July. You know, he loved, you know, being at BioWare and all that kind of stuff, and he's definitely going to help Casey Hudson get up and running and up to speed and all that stuff to set him up for success in the future and all that kind of stuff. What do you think? It's crazy. Do you?
I'm sorry, but this. I just figured you were gonna just read this and then we were gonna move on because.
Well, no, it's
that's
interesting.
Awesome. He got his job back, but.
But from the standpoint of like, so we saw Mass Effect come out. Me personally, I thought it was a good game. Was
I didn't
it
like Mass Effect?
Exactly. Was it the game that was the old Mass Effects? No, nothing will be the old Mass Effects, right? But. Is that the reason why he's not the GM anymore? Is it really, you know, this, that, and the other? I think there's some questions, and we're probably never, ever going to know, you know, the truth about this.
They're never going to tell us.
I know, they're never going to tell us.
Behind doors is always behind doors. They're not, like, unless he comes out and says, oh, yeah, hey, guess what? I got fired because I sucked at making this game. I'm not actually saying the game, like, I personally just was not into Mass Effect, but that's just my own personal opinions.
Yeah. I think Casey Hudson, though, coming back to BioWare is a really cool thing for BioWare, though.
Depends what he does with it.
I mean, he's been there for like years and years, worked on Mass Effect and done all that kind of stuff.
If he's coming back, what is he doing? Like, that's the thing.
He's running the studio, so he's going to have
I
all the decisions.
That,
he's going to be making all the decisions now.
I understand that, but why did they bring him back? What are they working on that they needed this expertise? There's so many other developers and stuff that they.
I think it has to do a lot with Mass Effect.
You think it was a lot?
I mean, he was the forefront guy with the Mass Effect series.
Does that mean you might get your DLC you wanted?
I don't think we're getting DLC.
Kidding.
I think after Anthem and all that stuff's done, he's probably going to be pushing to get Mass Effect back to its glory that everybody thinks. And again, like I thought Mass Effect Andromeda was still a really good game, and I think it's, you know, getting a lot more heat than it really deserved in a lot of ways.
Sorry. No, I just personally didn't really care much for it, so.
Yeah. But I think it's really cool that he's coming back. I can't wait to see what he's up to and what he's going to do with the studio and all that kind of jazz. It's going to be a good time. Casey Hudson, you better get freaking Mass Effect back on track, my friend. Moving on to another good thing that you actually brought up today. Which is a big, cool game for us, and that's The Evil Within 2. We actually got they say gameplay trailer. It does have gameplay in it, but it's a mix-up of cutscenes and gameplay.
It made me confused.
Yeah, she was. I was like, you're confusing me. What's going on here? But like, it started off with this very creepy, thing, and it looks like you're going to go on this journey of a father coming to terms with what happened to his daughter Lily and all this kind of stuff, because that seemed to be the tone throughout the whole trailer. I think the gameplay looks great. It still has that stealthy, choose your own way to accomplish the mission type kind of feel to it, and I absolutely loved that in the first game. I think the monsters look great. There was this really creepy black gooey monster with like a camera on it, and he was like coming around the door, and he was like, oh. So I can't wait to see what the camera has to involve, because
why?
Yeah, and if you look, like, there was always like TVs and stuff with the other bad guy. So is it going to be taking pictures, showing him where you are? Is that going to be like an alarm kind of thing where other baddies are going to come after you now?
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So that's an interesting thing to talk about. We also saw a new crossbow, or I saw a new crossbow in there, and it was laying down like this trap mine, and it was like stuck to the tire, and then an enemy would come across and blow up. And my traps and stuff was pretty relevant in the first game and everything. This time also, you're going to be, looks like, well, from what we see in the gameplay, it looks like you're going to be in a city type, whereas the first one, you kind of started in a city, but then you were transported to this other area, and it was more of like, backwoods, like creepy, old school kind of town and all that kind of stuff, and went through a whole bunch of other areas like an asylum and hospital and all that kind of stuff, where this is like very much like today's environment.
Yeah.
It's also releasing Friday the 13th, which is a fantastic release date for this kind of scary game.
Yeah,
what did you think of the gameplay? What did you think of the trailer?
So, okay, when I first clicked on it,
looks amazing too.
It said gameplay trailer. So when I first clicked on it and it goes into the first person, I'm like, wait, this game was third person. Why are we going first person? Now, don't get me wrong. Evil Within is a game that could go first person.
Like Resident Evil 7?
Yes, like Resident Evil 7 did. Because it is one of those really creepy games.
Yeah, they're very similar in their playstyle.
But when it comes to the monsters and stuff like that, I guess like seeing all of them, the third person just fit with this game at the same time. So, but I would have been happy either way, but it just confused me because all of a sudden you would see like it go into gameplay where he was actually running around and it was in third person. And I was like, wait, so is this actually a whole bunch of just cutscenes put in with gameplay? Because it just made me really confused because it went back and forth. And I was like, well, it would be cool if they do. Like, if you go into, like, or if you have the option. Like, I noticed some games seem to be putting in that option where you can go third person or first person. So it'd be cool to have the option as well.
What's up, everybody in the chat? Thank you so much for rocking out with us.
But my biggest thing is the monsters in this game. One thing that Evil Within has always done is, one, the creepiness, but at the same time, it's the uniqueness.
That's true.
They never look like a normal, thought up monster. They always
reminds me of like Silent Hill and all those types where they just go above and beyond with the monsters and stuff.
It's like it's almost like someone's like, okay, what was your worst nightmare as a kid and what did it look like? Because you know how kids always come up with like something with like billions of freaking arms and goo and whatever. Like kids always come up with like the craziest things when they're having nightmares and stuff. And it's like, so what was your crazy? Because that's what it seems like. It really does for how these monsters look. And again, yes, I would love to find out what the camera's for. And the fact that they didn't show the main guy, I don't remember his name, but the fact that they didn't show the main guy from the main bad guy from the first one, the guy with the white hood, is he going to be in this one?
I don't know.
Like, that's what I'm curious about. Because I thought he was
or is this like another whole like standalone kind of story that doesn't...
Yeah, but I really liked him as that whole crazy, creepy guy that just showed up every now and then. However, oh my god, there's a couple of scenes that just completely bring me back to Alice Menace Returns. Like when you see like the big red, like I guess it's like all bloody and stuff, but it's like a room with like the checkerboard floor and it's like breaking and he's like jumps and he's like trying to run to the door and then you see like things trying to like come down and grab him and stuff. That brings me back to like Alice Madness Returns like so much.
I think
I'm like,
every creepy game brings you back to that game.
No, well,
yes.
no. Just certain ones that actually have like things that are like similar. But
Awesome.
I'm excited. Seeing this trailer just made me more excited for this game.
Absolutely. Like, it made me like super excited about it.
Because like the first one was cool, the first trailer we saw at E3, but the whole like white, like constantly just white paint and just like the weird cutscenes. It was kind of like, okay, this is really cool, but where's it going kind of thing. But this one, you actually got to see things.
That's the kind of the cool thing about the Evil Within, like especially from the first one, is like you'd never really grasp what's going on. Like you get parts here and there, and it would take you on this weird, crazy adventure, and be like, well, I think it might be going this way, but then it like switches on you, and it's like, oh no, and now we're going this way, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, wasn't it like all in his mind or something?
Well, I don't want to like ruin anything for anybody that hasn't really played it. Because I could see a lot of people playing the first one now.
I hope so. I hope you guys go. I don't even know if I'm right on that, so don't quote me on it. But you need to play the first one before this one comes out because it is insane what he goes through. It is. It really is. And it's fun to go through and see like the different creatures and what they pull together. The graphically wise, it's going to be amazing. I love seeing him on the bus. Like he was standing on top of the bus, and then there's like...
He's throwing like the Molotov down or whatever.
Yeah, and there's like some weird like... butt face looking zombie creature thing on the ground in the fire. But yeah, he had like this big like I don't know. He was weird looking.
Well, there's one like from the ceiling that was kind of like that too. Yeah, the whole like big brain, big butt looking face
They look like
thingy.
a butt face.
Quote of the show, people: butt face.
They have butt face zombies.
Super awesome. I'm super excited for it. Can't wait for it to come out. Only a couple months away. Can you believe that? Go Bethesda. I love how you tell us about your games, and then they release just a couple months later.
They do. They did it with Fallout 4. They came out before E3 and said, hey, guess what? We got it. It's releasing in November. And now Wolfenstein and Evil Within are both like, guess what? We got them. They're coming.
Exactly.
And they do release. They weren't like Fallout didn't delay. I don't think these ones will either. So
True.
I'm excited.
True. All right, let's go ahead and move on to another big topic, which, again, I'm really excited about. Like, we got tons of games to talk about on this show. Not a whole lot of, like, crazy news, but just awesome games to talk about. So, Telltale Games has announced Batman, The Enemy Within, Wolf Among Us 2, and Walking Dead, the final season is all happening, which... I gotta, like, vent a little bit or rant a little bit about this because the last few days, they've been... No, this is not a thing. Wolf Among Us 2 is not happening. This isn't happening.
When did they change their tone? The article I sent you
literally
said that
today.
Wolfenstein or Wolf
Among Us, yeah,
wasn't releasing.
It wasn't. Yes. Now today, like they put out this trailer.
Oh my god, make up your damn mind.
I know, and they come out and are they were like the biggest trolls ever. People were like asking it and like, no, it's not happening, and now all of a sudden, oh, here you go, guys. So. Let's be clear. Batman, The Enemy Within, and we're going to talk about all this stuff here in a second, is coming out this year. The other two are in 2018, so we're not seeing those right away. So we got a little bit of wait on that. But that's fine because The Wolf Among Us 2 is going to be fantastic. Can't wait. So let's go ahead and talk about some of the stuff. Yeah, they have announced the three popular, like I said, The Wolf Among Us, blah, blah, blah. Batman's the only one releasing. Oh, yeah, the Batman game. If you watch the trailer, again, we can't really talk about the ending of the first one because if you haven't, but we're going to have the Riddler. Looks like it's going to be the main and possibly the Joker. It looks like that's continuing on from the first one.
Good, because they're like the main, like his main evil that I like.
Yes. And what I liked about like the Batman game itself is the whole Bruce Wayne part of it. Like, Bruce Wayne was a much more of a focus than just like, hey, we're playing as Batman. Let's go beat up these guys. Let's go ahead and be Mr. Detective and all this kind of stuff. Where now you got to see, like, the actual person, Bruce Wayne, what his family was doing, how it's affecting him, how it's affecting his business, and all that kind of stuff going forward. So I really enjoyed that about the Batman series. And me, like, I've said this on multiple podcasts before, like, I'm not a big Telltale fan. Like, I don't really like the whole quick-timey events. It's like... I really like more action-based, like, you know, third-person action-adventure kind of stuff and get in there and play, whereas Telltale is, like, very story-driven, very quick-timey and all that kind of stuff, and I'm always, like, I start them and I'm like, but Batman really, like, grabbed me and got me in, so I'm excited for the next Batman. Wolf Among Us was another great story, too, because it was all, like, the fables, you know, and all that kind of stuff, so they're going to be continuing on with that. Also, the final season of Walking Dead, you're going to be playing as Clementine. You're going to be finishing her story, finally. 4 seasons. She's going to be done, and it's going to be coming out in 2018, which I thought is kind of cool, too, because when it comes to, like, The Walking Dead, and I kind of have this with The Walking Dead, the TV show right now, is they go from one bad extreme to the next bad extreme to the next bad extreme to the next bad extreme, and it gets very tiring and exhausting. There's no point in between where it's just like, calm down, let's see what happens, let's try and be a community kind of thing and all this other stuff. And it's like, nope, back into fucking kill this person dies,
because
and
that would really happen, right? Like,
well, I mean, if you're like in that kind of like apocalyptic kind of scenario, yeah, like a lot of bad things will probably happen, people will die and all that kind of stuff, but there are going to be moments where you kind of take a step back, reflect, decompress.
Hold on. First off, when it comes to The Walking Dead, Rick literally goes from like one like dumbass guy to the next guy that wants to kill him to the next guy. Hello, leave the state and go to another state. Like,
yeah, they've literally went like 100 miles since the show started.
Like, why would you stay in one area if you know there is somebody bad there? Like, that makes no sense whatsoever. The way, like, well, obviously because the show needs to have like problems or it's not going to go anywhere. So it's understandable why they like wanted to keep doing this. But again, this is another one of those. Why don't you just shoot the guy in the head when you had, like, so many people have had the chance to just snipe these retards in the head, but yet nobody does it. You take them out and just be like, I'm king now. Chances are the other guys aren't, if they're followers to him, they're going to be followers to you. But that's the TV show, the whole comic, all of it. I've always felt the same way. But with, like, The Walking Dead Telltales, it is a good, like, it is, you know, I like how...
You've played a lot of them.
I have. The thing I like about the Walking Dead one is I find you do more in that one than you do in the other ones.
Yeah.
Like,
well, you're not really like restricted in that kind of game. You're not really set
what
to
I mean. Like that
a certain lore, like in Batman or, you know,
yes,
in Game of Thrones and all that kind of stuff. You're very like, you can only go like one path down that way. Whereas in like The Walking Dead, you can literally take anybody and turn it into... And
that's why I like those. But again, the Telltales are definitely games like for certain people. Not everybody likes them because it is simply just click. Like there was a couple of them I literally didn't even bother to play. I just like kept pressing A and then, or I would just leave and let it decide what it wanted to do and go do something else around the house just so I could get the achievements, because there was a couple of them boring. I'm not going to say which ones, but it was just kind of one of those things. But The Walking Dead was always one that I liked that was separate from it, and you had more to do, and I wish Telltales would kind of do that. But I know one that really wanted to be talked about, and I'm assuming hasn't actually been confirmed, is Tales of the Borderlands. Like, that one is not getting another season.
Nope, they haven't talked about that.
So, sadly, guys, and that's actually one I would have actually liked.
It might be on the block, but... Currently,
well, they said no. Currently,
yeah, currently or even next year-ish, not happening. Yeah. Since they're going to be coming out with The Walking Dead and Wolf Among Us 2, and I think that's Wolf Among Us 2. I think is the one they're really focusing on, which is another really cool take on the Fables. A lot of people want that one. Yeah, absolutely. Everybody's been asking.
I wanted Tales of the Borderlands.
Which, if you look at like, I mean, even The Walking Dead and these other Telltales have more seasons than The Wolf Among Us, and that was one of their better like story-driven games. Like, it took like all these Fable characters, turned it into this city where the wolf guy was the detective, and you know you went around and did all this kind of cool stuff.
I thought it was
that was
awkward.
super interesting. Oh my god, it was so brutal in that
awkward.
Too. Like Lumberjack guy is crazy, man.
Yeah.
Nuts.
It was interesting.
Super excited for all these games coming out this year and next. So, moving on to the next topic, Doom Update 6.66.
Yeah, because
triple sixes.
Because that wasn't planned.
I know that was
right?
totally.
That was not planned to have your update called 666. No.
Totally fits with the Doom theme and everything. So I'll go ahead and read off some of the stuff because it's really a lot of really good stuff for people that either want to get into the game or have been in the game. You're going to get a lot of really cool stuff. So It all starts today with the release of update 6.66. Like all of our updates, this is a ton of fixes and improvements across multiplayer and snap map. It will be outlined in the full update notes. First, we've retired the Doom Season Pass and are making all of the multiplayer DLC content available to all players. There's 3 multiplayer DLC packs, which include 9 of the best maps, 3 additional guns, 3 additional playable demons, new equipment, armor, sets, and a whole ton more. With this update, we've changed when and how players unlock additional guns, and this is where it gets really cool. Demons, equipment, and all the player weapons and customization options. Instead of relying on current random unlock systems, so like whatever unlocks after you finish, the match or whatever, everything now unlocks through a specific leveling requirement. So you level up your guy, you unlock new weapons, new gear, and all that kind of stuff, which I don't know why it wasn't like that in the beginning. I hate the whole random roll thing. You never get what you want to, and all that kind of stuff. And if you're looking for that specific gear or whatever, that specific look, because the customization in Doom, it was fantastic with the armor. You could change the colors and all that kind of cool stuff. And the last thing we want to talk about is this Thursday, July 20th, 12 Eastern, Xbox and PC will have a free weekend, and the 27th, you'll be able to try the free weekend on the PS4. And if you also like the game, if you don't have it, they're offering it for a super low, well worth the price of $14.99 in the US, $11.99 in the UK, and $17.99 Australia. This is all digital purchases only, not physical copies, but for $14.99 to pick up Doom is a fantastic and a steal.
Just the campaign alone is
exactly.
worth.
The multiplayer, the graphics, the game runs so good on all platforms. Like, you owe it to yourself to go ahead and pick it up for $14.99, $15 for wherever you live at. I think it's fantastic. One thing about like Halo 5 that I really enjoyed, which I wish other shooters would take away from that, is give all the DLC maps. At least the multiplayer stuff, give that shit away for free. Stop segregating your player base. It's been a year, and they're just doing it now, so I won't give them a pass as far as that goes, but it's nice to see that they're actually giving all the maps now. They're like, the season pass over, here you go, everybody, now you all can enjoy.
And it's pretty much a kick in the face to, hey guys, if you did buy season pass, guess what? You should have waited. Like,
exactly. I guess
that's
a good
my
point,
only thing. Like, everyone who did pay, it was like $39 for the season pass. So everyone who had to pay, literally, like,
to be fair,
if you
though,
would have waited, guess what? Well,
if
I know
you were
it's
like,
been out for a while.
No. But like, if you were into the game and you wanted that stuff like now, you paid for the season pass so you can get it earlier than everybody else. And to be fair, like, everybody that waited, you still had to wait a year to get all that kind of stuff. So it kind of evens out. But yes and no. I totally agree. Like,
they
as far as multiplayer maps,
done it right the first time. Like Halo, come on, Halo is one of the biggest companies going, who could be like Activision and literally just make you pay for everything.
I mean, look at Battlefront 2. Like, they've also come around and been like, all the DLCs for you guys.
Now.
Yeah, now.
But they didn't the first time.
Exactly.
They made you pay for the dumbest skins and the dumbest crap. Like,
I will take, though, them learning from their mistake and then the second game doing it right, instead of them consistently every game comes out and it's like, here's another thing that we're going to screw you over on with. I guess DLC I can and all that kind of stuff.
Now, if only COD would learn. But guess what? It won't, because we all still keep buying the crap on it. Well, actually, we haven't bought DLC from that in a really long time.
Not since Advanced Warfare.
Yeah. And sorry, but your DLC should be free, especially map-wise, because you go play with friends.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Like, if it's story-based stuff.
Zombies, fine, pay for. Because technically, it's almost like a story.
It's like an add-on kind of thing, yeah.
Yes. Zombies, fine. You want, like, Call of Duty, if Call of Duty was smart, they would have just taken zombies out of, like, all of these games and literally just sold it as a big bundle. Like,
I would, well, you know why they don't? Is because everybody would, well, not everybody, would only buy the zombies, or a good portion, like, say, like a third of the player base would take and just buy the zombies and not buy the Call of Duty. So now they just get everybody buying the whole thing. Yeah,
but all the maps for multiplayer should be free. Like,
yes, I agree. Yes, all the DLC maps should be free.
Again, Doom, it's great you're doing it now, but you should have just gave all your DLC, because I bet you would have sold a hell of a lot more of your games like Halo did. I
don't think
Halo,
Doom did bad.
It didn't do bad, but it could have done better.
Yes, I think
Halo. Okay, the thing with Halo, yes, it's a big name, and it was able to stand on its own and give away that DLC. But it could have, like I said, it could have been like Activision and these other big ones and been like, no, we are a big name, so we are gonna make you pay. But no, they're like, no, you know what? We'll sell more if we give away this DLC, and that's what they did. And Doom should have done the same thing.
My only rebuttal to that is I don't think people thought Doom was going to be as good as it was. I think people went into this and being like, it's going to be Doom. It's not going to be that great.
So that's a better reason to give away the DLC instead of making you charge for it.
Well, I mean, maybe from the standpoint of them, but
especially $40.
I don't think people what. I mean, I was happy with Doom because I'm a big Doom fan, but other people that looked at Doom and are like, yeah, I might get that game, might not, blah, 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 blah. I don't think they were thinking about DLC at all, right? So they were just going in with the expectation of, I'm just going to play the campaign, see how it goes, and then that's it. And probably never bought the DLC anyway, because the multiplayer on Doom, for me, is fantastic because I love that faster pace, like Unreal, Quake kind of gameplay and stuff like that, where a lot of people don't like that. Yeah, I mean, it's still weird
multiplayer, but I still think it would have helped it if they would have gave it away.
Yeah, but I mean, at that time, if you're a developer, are you really thinking is it going to really help us? Because that's the other point, and this is my contention with the whole DLC and how much it should cost, if we should cost, it should be free, and all this other kind of stuff, is how we literally have not raised the price of video games in years and years and years and years. We're still paying the same price, and we're getting more and more content. These teams are 300 people in some of these teams. The production, budgets and all that kind of stuff rival movies and stuff now. So I get the whole microtransactions. I get the DLC because they need to make up that money some way, somehow. As long as it's not game breaking where it's pay to win. The map packs and stuff, I don't like the map packs because of the segregation of your player base. People that don't want to be DLC can't play on the same maps, and you kind of separate them. So your player base becomes smaller in multiplayer, or you can only play on the core maps because nobody has all the maps.
Especially when the DLC half the time it's $20 for 2 maps, $20 for 2 more maps, $20 for 2 more maps. I just never thought DLC was really fully worth the price for the fact of you didn't get a whole lot for spending that much money.
Yeah, for sure.
And you weren't even, especially COD, you weren't even guaranteed to get to play on that map when it released. Even if you liked it, it was in the cycle with everything else.
And you had to vote on it and I don't want to play on that map. Nobody wants to play on it because they're better on this other map. So
yeah, so it's even though you paid for the DLC, you still may not even have got, I just thought it was so stupid.
I'm part of the problem, though, because I'm playing COD and probably buying all the DLC and everything else for it because it's fantastic.
Well, zombies, yes.
Zombies looks fantastic.
Zombies are gonna
I'm getting all the zombies, for sure.
That'll buy.
Let's go ahead and move on our discussion for today. That was all our top news of today that we thought was relevant, that you all need to be up to date on. I love Doom and all that kind of stuff. But today's discussion is, do gamers have a problem when it comes to buying video games? And I threw this out to SheWulf before the show started, and she's like, what do you mean? And what I kind of mean is, a lot of us gamers, we go out there and buy a ton of these games with the premise of, I'm totally going to play this game. We play it 5 minutes, it goes back in the backlog. And you know what happens? Our backlog becomes all the way up here and continues to rise and rise and rise. And we're always saying, I'm going to get on that backlog. I'm going to get on that backlog. I'm going to knock some of these games out. And you know what happens?
This summer.
We never do it. Let's be honest, guys. Let's be honest with ourselves as gamers. We never do it. So do we have a problem where it comes into, we got to buy all these games? What is the driving force? Is it just the new thing? Are we so conditioned now that we got to buy every new game that comes out and play and do all this other crazy stuff, and then we just toss it in the backlog bin and being I'll get to it sometime? What are your thoughts?
One being a lot of people nowadays stream, or they do reviews, and so of course, yes, you're getting the next best thing. You obviously have to keep up on that kind of stuff, but
yeah, so maybe we're not the best demographic to.
No, because see, we don't know what casual. Okay, so say for instance, our kids, we tell them, hey, guess what? You can't play the next one until you start, you play the games you have. We're not buying you more until you play the ones you have.
Leaving the kids at...
So, but no, it's still
Yeah, I get that point. You can kind of monitor and like give them an incentive to do.
But I guess Mike, okay, Magic Mike, sorry to throw you under the bus, hon, but you are the perfect example of this. He turns around and he tells us, hey, I'm not buying another game. I still have too many. I don't have the money. I'm not buying another game. Well, he tries it or ends up seeing somebody else playing it in a stream, and guess what? He ends up going and buying it. So, yes, it's possible because you see it and you're like, oh my god, that is the coolest thing ever, and you want to play it. You want to, like, feel that. But yes, I find there is a slight problem of, you know, you play a game for so long and then you just kind of throw it away. Like, not throw it away, but it goes in the backlog. Like, Tomb Raider. You beat Tomb Raider, and I keep wanting to go back and play it, but I have so many other things that I have to do that I haven't been able to. Like Doom, I've actually have not completed the campaign on Doom. I will admit this right now. But that was because we get so many games to review. It's so hard to go back.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I think like you gotta kind of like leave us out of the conversation because we're a little bit different. We do get review codes and we gotta do things. We can't really go back to games sometimes when we want to. This time of year, and I've been a little good at it, and I've been working on some of the backlog and all that kind of stuff, but not nearly as where I wanted to. Like we made this list. Like these were the games we were gonna knock out over the summer.
We possibly played a couple of hours of 2 of them.
Yeah, exactly. And went back and forth.
But because we got more review codes, so we ended up having to do more reviews, and, you know, because it is still, I'm working on streaming stuff. So.
I keep thinking, like, you know, for us and, like, other people that maybe, you know, watch us and stuff, they want to be part of the conversation. They want to be, you know, in that conversation of the next best thing that's coming out. Like, you know, PUBG. Like, a lot of people, like, go and get those games on with good intentions, don't get me wrong, to go ahead and play and put tons of time in and become really good at them, get through the stories and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, life gets in the way or other things get in the way. Yeah. You throw them in the back, like.
But the problem, yes, somebody points out, you know, it's based on friends. For multiplayer games, yes, that is probably one of the biggest things going. If you are a gamer, yes, you are buying games because, like, obviously for multiplayer, your friends are playing them. You want to be able to play with them, so you buy it because obviously most of your friends are going to be moving on to the next new game. So you don't want to feel left behind playing the old multiplayer
right, that's the whole,
you guys
like,
are playing.
You want to be in the conversation kind of thing.
But when it comes to games like, say, you know, Recore, Tomb Raider, Uncharted 4, games that aren't actually multiplayer, those, I think we're so used to TV shows and movies and that kind of stuff. Like, we all sit, like, I'm sure everybody is known for this. You see a new movie come out, you want to go watch it because, hey, it looks cool. It looks like it's going to interest you. And it goes with the same thing of, like, TV shows. You see it because it looks interesting, but it's, when you see these games, you see the trailers that they push out, and you see, like, oh my god, that looks really like it would be awesome. And then you don't really take into account how long the game is. So you think you can actually beat it in the
like
time
a 10 to 12 hour kind of game.
Yes. But no, like, most people, I'm sure a lot of you guys who are listening to this, you don't go on the website, how long does it take to beat? I'm sure you don't go on there and say, hey, all right, let's see. How many hours is this going to take me? No, I bet you don't. And you think, okay, I'm going to jump in this, I'm going to beat it, and then it's done. But then as you're going,
you're like, how much longer do I got?
4 hours go. And you're still going, and it's like, oh my god, okay, 4 hours. Newf is a good one for this because he did it with Horizon Zero Dawn. He kept going, but he was trying to do everything else, and he's like, oh my god, it's still going, and it's still going. Because you don't take into account how long these games are.
Yeah, but like you've seen me play the Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yes.
Like I blew through those. Those are like one of my favorite games.
But
like, linear type style.
You sat for nonstop hours playing it.
But that doesn't happen all the time. That's the issue that I'm like. That doesn't happen with every game. Like I don't buy a game and just sit there and play through it because we do have other things. I got a job. We got family. You know, we got other things that we got to do for the channel and all that kind of other stuff. But I don't get to do that, or I can't afford to put that much time into, especially like a Witcher type kind of game, a Mass Effect type of game, where to go and do all the side quests. I played Blood and Wine,
but I couldn't go through the whole Witcher 3 because there's just so much.
Well, I mean, you could, of the standpoint of you're just playing through the basic campaign and doing some of the side missions to get your level up to go through, but to really complete and get the whole experience of like the Witcher and Mass Effect, you really have to do those side quests where like Horizon Zero Dawn and Tomb Raider and all that kind of stuff, Uncharted, you can really just kind of like wiggle your way through the campaign, and it's all like said and done. Although on Tomb Raider, I do get 100% on that thing because I love me some Tomb Raider.
You did. But again, that was when you had time.
Yeah.
So you were able to go
to be
back
fair, though,
and
if another Tomb Raider
complete.
comes out, I'll be like every night playing the shit
You
out of it
would,
until I beat
but
it.
not everybody can do that. People, like you said, have families, and they have wives that say, "Hey, no more gaming. Let's go. My time now." Well, you're lucky you don't have that. Where I'm kind of like, all right, let's see you beat this game. I want to see the story. Let's go. Like, I'll sit there and watch you play these games that I haven't been able to get into playing because me personally, I can't sit, taking care of the kids, making sure like the house is clean, supper, all that kind of stuff. I can't sit and just play games for hours at end and then try to and I guess there's also the problem of you start to lose interest after a while.
Right. That goes into another factor of the next game. You're seeing the next game. You're like, oh man, I don't want to put no more time into this because I want to go into this next game. And then it's just that whole domino effect of your backlog gets bigger. You're not really completing these games and doing the stuff.
Yep.
And I don't know if it's like a problem with the gamers per se, problem with the whole marketing thing, this, that, and the other. If you want to stay like fresh in the conversation with all the new stuff coming out and all that kind of stuff, it's just a really interesting conversation to dive into. And
also,
see
it comes down to you think you're gonna like a game. You buy a game.
Yeah.
You don't like the game, and then you're like, all right, well, let's see
we need demos back, people.
Yes, demos. We need those demos because that is a big, issue. A lot of people buy games thinking they're going to like them. Then they buy them, they start playing them, and then they're like, oh crap, you know what? I'm not really enjoying this. Maybe I'll come back to it and try it again. Maybe I will. But then you see the next one, and you're like, oh hey, maybe I'll like that one better. And then it is just something because being a gamer, you want to feel inside these worlds.
Yeah, you want to be immersed.
People use games most of the time to escape from the real world. You want to be that knight in, an RPG. You want to be that army guy in a shooter. You want to feel like you're engaged in a game. And for most people, they want to keep going on to the next thing. They want to be able to, obviously, again, it all comes down to friends, games that interest you, and then just time-wise. Again, I think that is the biggest factor, though.
Time.
I think is the fact people don't realize how long some of these games take. Like Ori and the Blind Forest. You would think that you could, there's people who obviously beat in 3 hours because there is an achievement for that. But the average person that starts playing that game, no, it turns into a long jumping puzzle.
Long game.
You start getting frustrated, and then you're like, oh, you know what? I'll do it again. I'll play it tomorrow. But then you see another game release, and you're like, oh shit, that looks really awesome. And then you go and buy that because you think, and then
you start that one.
You're like, oh crap.
The cycle starts over again.
Yes, it starts over, and then you're like, oh, Ori, I gotta go play. But then you're like, I'll play it tomorrow. I'll play it. It's always.
You haven't finished Ori? You should be ashamed of yourself.
You should.
Ori's fantastic.
I hate jumping puzzles, and I beat that game.
But with my help.
With your help, yes. I couldn't do the water part. I could not do that water part where you have to go up in the freaking thing and beat the water. I couldn't do that.
Awesome conversation. Great thing. So we're going to go ahead and end the show now, guys. Let us know what you think about that discussion, too. Do gamers have a problem with buying a crazy amount of games and not finishing them and all that kind of stuff? Let us know in the comments below and all that kind of stuff. And keep us honest, everybody. Let us know what we got wrong, if we needed some critiques and all that kind of stuff. Let us know. We'll talk about them on the next show. Tomorrow will be the next show. Like I said, again, we're going to be doing this show. We're going to be doing Diablo 3 stream. Gaming Den's going to be on Friday, back on the console corner, doing all kinds of cool stuff for you guys. What do you got going on, SheWulf?
I'll be streaming Destiny 2 tomorrow, so make sure you guys tune into that. I believe it's going to be at 12 because... you
should be able to get into your early time now.
Nah, Fox won't wake up at that time, so I don't think Foxy will be awake for me. So looks like it's going to be about 12 o'clock tomorrow, so...
Nice. Cool. Thanks again, guys. Appreciate everybody rocking out on Mixer with us and all that kind of cool stuff. We love you. Again, this is going to be uploaded pretty soon here on YouTube, so you guys can check it out there
at the Gamers Knows Best YouTube, guys. So make sure you Google search us and come and join us.
Rate, comment, subscribe, all that cool stuff. Thank you so much, guys. We really appreciate it. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.